sponsored by Rectumfy. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the faMASH podcast with me, Lily. I'm joined by my co-host, So Onyxu, Peaceful Potato, and last and definitely least, Contagion. So E3 happened over the last week. There were some big reveals. What are your reactions to E3 2021 and what upcoming games are you most excited for? Poe, why don't you start for us since I know you were blown away by Overwatch 2.
Overwatch. That's why you asked me. He asked me before what game I was looking forward to. Yeah, Overwatch 2. I kind of have like a love-hate relationship with the entire Overwatch thing, and I think Overwatch 2 is just gonna be way worse. So, yeah, I'm not fond of the game.
What were your reactions to E3 2021 since I know you have some mixed feelings about that too?
Oh, I didn't watch the E3 2021, but I watched the what's his Video Game Donkey always does like every year. He talks about like the E3 games, like the big things, and I watched that video.
Man, the Among Us thing.
But there wasn't really like any game I liked because most of the games I saw were like retro games, for example, that. With the Mac guy, I don't know what his name is.
Huh?
Give me. The guy that looks like Mega thingy but isn't Mega thingy. Give me.
Megatron.
No.
Mega Man.
No. If I'm gonna say the name, you're all gonna be like, "Oh, that dude."
Claudius Maximus.
No, shut up! Stop it! No!
It's literally in his Wait, I'm just gonna send the screenshot. That's gonna be way easier. This guy!
Oh, Samus!
That dude!
Where's Mega?
That was like the only game in that entire video that was like retro in a good way for me because I played that a lot on Game Boy back in the day.
Where's the Mega though? This is Metroid.
Metroid! That was the name!
That is nothing like Mega!
Mega Metroid! Are you really gonna tell me that doesn't sound alike?
No, it doesn't.
At all! And you know that I'm true when they, agree with me.
Any other games you're looking forward to in the upcoming year too?
I'm looking forward to, but that isn't coming out anytime soon. But it was announced like a while back. Is Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh yeah.
Why is that funny, Kian? Why is that funny?
Everyone knows that game is so radio silent and so dead.
Yeah. Has anybody seen it?
I know you want high polygon monkey, but it might not happen.
Not true.
I'd like to point out this is why I said I don't like the idea of doing a podcast with Keanu because he just ruins everyone's fun.
I'm just
He only cares
voicing
about his opinion.
true, but also this is just facts. Okay.
It's not. Do you know how big of a community Beyond Good and Evil has? That's like my entire childhood. Right
Yeah,
there.
a community that isn't getting a new game.
Yeah, like our Silent Hill, they have a pretty big community. Everyone loves it, but no one wants to make a game of it.
Silent Hill is so overrated.
That's your opinion. I also have that same
No,
opinion.
no, I'm doing the same as you did. Which
No,
one?
but I agree with you this time. I don't even like Silent Hill. Really, I like the movies, but the games are meh. But yeah, the community is die for good games.
Potato, the problem is with your comeback statement is that you didn't offend Keanu, but you offended me. Now you're fighting two people.
Next question.
Or maybe just next person.
So,
Yeah.
Lily,
Yes.
it is your time to give your opinion over the upcoming games and what you're excited for.
But first, E3. So, E3, the first day.
Dodge the bullet there.
Listen, E3, the first day was pretty lackluster until they showed Elden Ring. Elden Ring was like the apex. The Xbox showing was great in my opinion. The Take-Two showing was absolutely pathetic in my opinion. I don't know if you guys saw the people on the podcast on the show getting roasted in the chat, but that was funny. So E3 2021 overall, I feel like was a failure, but there were some good showings, especially from Xbox. I really feel like this was probably their best showing, game showing ever. And then, I've got a long list of games.
Oh no.
So, first of all is actually Dungeons and Dragons, that Dark Legions game. That actually looks really good. I really want to play that. I think it's coming.
I brought that up, didn't I? Before.
I don't know, but it's coming out. I think in 2 days.
Oh yeah, really?
I think so, and it's launching on Game Pass, which is also really nice.
Yeah.
Another game I'm really excited for is coming out in 2022, and that will be Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl.
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys saw that.
It looks so nice.
That looks.
Oh my gosh.
That looks like a really, really nice game. Another one that we'll probably hear about later is Halo Infinite. I'm pretty excited about that, honestly. The multiplayer is actually but the multiplayer has actually got me down. I don't really care that much for the campaign, and I'm probably gonna get skinned for that. But yeah. Another one that I wasn't gonna mention, but because of circumstances, I am going to mention it. Elden Ring. I think some of us are really excited for. I don't know about you guys.
Can I first add something?
Yes.
Because you just jumped from one thing to the other. One thing I can definitely say is I feel like most people, when it came to Halo Infinite, I feel like no one was excited for it until it showed like the multiplayer thing. I feel like everyone thought it was.
Everyone was excited when they first showed Craig. My God.
You were like the first person to shit on Craig. What do you mean? I said.
know, that's why I love it.
No, I was like, I want Craig to stay in the game, and you said, nah, I want ugly bastard Halo Reach monkey things. And I even sent a picture after each other, and I'm like, how could you not choose Craig over this thing? And you're like, nah, those ones actually look badass.
That's your stand is invalid.
I can scroll up in the chat. I have more patience than you have in your friggin' whole life.
Probably. But yeah.
Check D&D planning. My phone has never interacted with FamSpeak, but I think the majority can agree with me. Not you guys, but the majority of the people who answered the poll.
Are you excited?
Can you guys see the screenshot?
No.
Yeah.
I said go to planning, you monkey.
I'm not going. It's too late.
Okay, well, you're not the camera guy. Lily, go to planning.
I already did.
Yeah, I feel like most people can agree with me after the multiplayer was revealed that Halo Infinite actually looked pretty pog.
Yeah, to be honest.
It's very formal speak.
Yeah.
The multiplayer specifically.
Yeah, to be honest, the multiplayer really got me hyped as well.
Wasn't the multiplayer free as well, or did I?
Yes.
It's free to play cross-platform
and cross progression. I think it is very cool, and obviously,
and the battle pass will also work like the Master Chief Collection, where it is free for everyone. It's permanent, so if you didn't complete in season 1, you can do season 1 and season 7.
Yo, that's so cool.
I'm not exactly sure if it's free though.
Progression, that's also a bonus.
I'm not
that battle pass thing that they're doing is like the coolest, concept for battle passes I've seen. Like no one else has been doing something like
I saw that there was a big thing going around. A lot of Apex players demanded that they make the battle pass like the Halo one because it's superior.
Yeah, I saw that too.
But I doubt EA will agree to that.
EA have actually patented that.
It's EA we're talking about.
Good job. For once, you get it. You get to win this time. That's 1 to 717.
They can unlock their gold star for $7.99.
Probably.
So quickly, opinions about Elden Ring's gameplay reveal.
I have some opinions. I think personally it looks really cool. If I'm talking about just gameplay, it looks just like a kind of mesh between Sekiro and the previous Dark Souls games, which I like. It looks very fluid and fun, and I also love my open world games, so that's just a bonus. If you're talking about graphics, I feel like it looks pretty similar to Dark Souls 3, which I'm not that angry or sad about because I'm playing it for the gameplay. But it was a bit surprising to see how it looked when compared to something like Demon Souls, which came out recently. And I know it's done by different people, but still, people were expecting it to be a tiny bit better looking. But I really don't mind. I think it looks pretty nice.
Yeah, honestly, the gameplay looked very Dark Souls-ish, especially with the different weapon arts, which I really liked. I do like the idea of having a dedicated jump button.
Yes. Oh, that got me so excited.
I am very dreaded to see that in PvP if there is going to be PvP though. I'd also
think
like to point out that from what I can tell is you're gonna have your own mythical monster thing that you're riding. I wouldn't classify that as a
Mount.
horse, but let's just go horse. Yeah,
Mount. Yeah.
Steed.
I said mount. No. Now, the thing you're riding, if you can summon it at any time, I think a lot of people have been just wrecking their brain on thinking how PvP and stuff would work. Because what's to stop the guy you're invading once he has out of all heals and he's losing this fight to just pop his horse? And since if it's going to be free roam, what's also to stop him from traveling to Mount Chiliad on his horse while you're chasing after him?
I'm pretty sure that they stated there was like a live stream or video, I can't remember, where they're talking about deep dive into Elden Ring's gameplay, and they said that the horse riding and stuff like that, like the mount, you can call it pretty much any time, but when you're doing PvP, I think in PvP, if you're like it's like limited, you aren't really allowed to use it because then you could just run away or whatever.
See, I knew you were going to say that, and then I retort with, but that gay, because what happens to fighting another person on your horse while on a horse? Because honestly, that was like one of the coolest parts that I was looking forward to.
I was also excited for that. So I don't know exactly. They might change it. They might, do it in a different way. Maybe it depends on where you're located. I mean, we don't really know. We'll have to see.
I do like the idea of limitations, because if you turn your eyes to the screen, Vati Vidya, Lord of Souls Lore, had this as his thumbnail, and this just hurt my soul. Think about just riding on your horse. The other guy, invader, comes around the corner on his horse, and these things fly at you at Mach 1 and one shot you, and then you just fly off your horse, followed by the "you die" text. Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, that might be annoying.
Because I've never had a problem with that spell in particular, but then there's always that one invasion guy who's min-maxed his stats with, and he has like a glass cannon build where if he stabs himself repeatedly with this, his buffering will trigger, which makes it the magic missiles will one-shot you in your pinky toe, and then you'll implode from inside out. And then you effing die alone.
Okay, so speaking of spiritual successors, let's talk about another one that's critically acclaimed. The spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood. What do we think about Back 4 Blood?
Look awesome.
I think we all have the same opinion.
One of my streamers played it. Well, wait, sorry, before I continue. You said we all have the same opinion. What's your opinion then?
Well, that it looks good. I don't know. It looks pretty fun. It just looks like more Left 4 Dead, which
that's exactly what I wanted to say.
Wanting. Exactly. That's what everyone has been begging for years, and it looks like we're getting it.
I don't know how much you've seen, but it sounds like I've seen more because I watched like 5 hours of gameplay because my YouTuber got a beta or alpha or whatever. He got to play it way before it's out, like a few months ago. And I can't remember if they were playing on a higher difficulty, but yeah, it's basically first-person Left 4 Dead that is very unforgiving. But again, they could have been playing on a higher difficulty, but it's like you get bitch slapped by the jerk-off man once and you're dead.
That could be just better though, because it would make some really fun and funny and interesting moments. So
I'm all for the higher difficulty because that will just make everything more fun and funny. But at the same time, This will be very scary for the plebeians who play the game.
Doesn't care. I'm not playing with random people. I'm playing with you
Yes,
guys.
but you don't understand. This
think-
podcast is not for us; it's for the people.
Screw the people.
I think if people get disappointed because it's like too hard or whatever, it's not a Left 4 Dead game. It's a successor and all of that, and it's by the same company, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it's not the same, guys.
But it isn't Left 4 Dead. So if
No.
people are expecting a perfect copy and then are disappointed that it's like too hard or too different or whatever, I mean that's on them, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
it
true.
isn't a-
Like, I don't expect it to be
No.
exactly the same, but it's obviously going to draw parallels. I mean, it's the same genre with the same type of combat.
Same
It just
type
looks
of
more
name.
refined.
No, what I was implying is I can't remember if I saw a difficulty slider. That's what I mean. If it has a difficulty slider, then there's no issues. But I mean,
I'm
I
sure
can
it
already
does.
tell you 90% of the player base are gonna come from Left 4 Dead community.
Obviously.
Probably. Yeah.
Everyone I know who plays Left 4 Dead knows about this game, but everyone who doesn't play Left 4 Dead doesn't know about it, which was like 2 of my friends because
Yeah.
everyone plays Left 4 Dead or has played it.
By the way, Keanu, anybody wanna say anything else about Back 4 Blood?
No, I think all's been said. We're just excited overall.
Yeah.
In the gameplay I saw, I don't know if you know the tank from Left 4 Dead, the big ass brute thing that yeets you across the map.
Yeah.
In Back 4 Blood, there's like one of those, but it's this. It can like its hand is the size of the tank from Left 4 Dead. Like it gets a boss health bar on top of the screen as well, and you could all unload your guns into it and won't even do a quarter of the first like. It's like 1 out of 24 of his health bar if you all unload your magazines at the same time. So again, that looks fun.
It,
You can
does.
avoid it quite easily, like it just waddles towards you on the battlefield, but it also looks like it would just step on the center you're hiding in as a checkpoint, and it would be game over.
So, are you guys ready for a rant?
Oh.
always.
Keanu, Battlefield 2042.
How is this
Don't
a
even
rant?
get me
Oh,
started.
Keanu.
I don't know. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, the trailers. Before they released the gameplay trailer, they showed. First, I'll talk about just a normal game teaser trailer. From that point, very excited. I love my Battlefield games. I preferred the older ones, to be fair. I didn't like the World War ones as much as the modern ones. That's why I'm especially excited for this new one because, I mean, like I said, I like my modern ones. It looks really fun. I saw a grappling hook in the next trailer, which is very sexy. Grappling hooks are always a must-have for me in games. They're just beautiful, and they cannot make the game worse, only better. I don't know exactly how the game will play, obviously, Lily, but I know that it will probably be solid. Speaking from past experiences with other games, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. One pet peeve I have with it, though, is that they said that they're bumping up the players by double, right? It was 64, and now it's going to be 128 or something, right?
Yes.
Which is very cool. The only problem is they said that there's going to be bots in the lobbies, and I don't like that. Why? Who wants bots in their lobbies?
I
want to
love
play.
that concept.
I hate that idea. If I'm playing Battlefield, my favorite moments are like if I'm standing behind cover shooting at people, an enemy tank rolls up behind me, looks at me, I look at him, I shake my head, he nods, nods, and then he just leaves me, and I walk on my very way. I love that. But if a bot comes, he's just gonna murk me.
Keanu,
Yeah.
we play with you every time you play Battlefield because you
Good
don't
point.
play it unless we're playing it. And
Not
I can
true.
get,
Just the old
and
ones, the new ones. I mean.
I can confirm that Keanu has not pulled that off once successfully. Every time he looks at a tank, they just shoot him because he's Keanu. But I've seen Lily pull that off at least once.
I never said for me specifically. I mean for everyone in general. I like the idea. I don't like bots in games like this.
I see where you went with it. I agree, but the bots concept is probably one of the best they had. But it should be optional, I think. Like on official
obviously.
servers, they can like label half of them bot enabled, bot disabled, because like for example, our country's community of Battlefield players, well, it's probably bigger than what it looks, but they're all split between consoles and platforms. And so depending on which battlefield you're playing, sometimes you can't fill a 64 lobby.
Yeah.
With bots, if someone wants to host but he wants the full experience, then he can like do a poll. Hey, do you guys want bots today to have a really big battle?
Yeah.
See, if it's optional, then I'm all for it. And for example, then countries with less players than enough to fill up. And even if it's like most people, when you have a group that plays Battlefield, it's usually comprised of people that you can tolerate. That's why it's usually not as big as it could be, because if you just accepted everyone in your area, then you would hate half of them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also for that sentiment. I don't mind if it's an option, but it's not. That's the problem. At least at launch, it doesn't seem like it's going to be. If it was an option, I would be perfectly fine. Then people can do whatever. If I really want to play, and for some reason all the lobbies that are up, all the servers are just with bots enabled, then I can, get like a Battlefield group together and play, without bots. But if it's mandatory, that's what it seems to be. That's not what I don't like. That's not what I like. I hate that. It's not fun. Okay, playing against bots if you don't want to.
Maybe the bots do scale with like your skill level and all of that. So for all you know, you might not even notice that the bots are there.
Yeah, but I'm talking about also when it comes to certain funny situations, when there's also like, like how I mentioned the tank thing, or other certain things, like when you run into other enemy players and you just stare at each other and then you do some dumb shit. That I love that type of thing. That's like embedded within the Battlefield community, those kind of funny moments. And with bots just randomly coming up behind people and shooting them and killing them from behind because they were paying attention to the enemy doing some funny dumb stuff. I don't like that. It just ruins the moment. But if it's optional, yeah, I'm all for it. That's fine, because like Keegan said, if someone can't get enough people together, then that's totally fine. But if you don't want that, then that should be the option. You should have that option.
I just assumed that half the lobbies would like say bots enabled, bots disabled, the official servers, but they'll probably hopefully might happen, but it will probably just be like a permanent thing on official servers, who knows.
Yeah.
But one thing when it comes to antics, I was really hoping to see somewhere like in a Battlefield game that they have proximity chat, but knowing how toxic people could get, maybe not. But it would be funny. It would be great for antics, because we all know the famous clip of where it's like, Captain, look! Like, think if you and your squad are just like talking a bunch of nonsense, and then the next moment a tank, and like the one person who's like looking out of the trench or whatever, out of the house you're in, sees the tank like driving straight towards your place but not shooting it with the intent of just driving through it. And then he's trying to get all of your attention, and as the tank gets closer, he's like blasting Fortunate Son through his in-game audio. Also, one moment I had before is like this one guy, we would always pluck out melees when we saw each other, but knowing how antics go, it's impossible to calculate what he's gonna do, because one time I just stared at him, he stared at me, I plucked out a melee, he took my head off. Turns out he was lighting up a shot. I thought since we were fighting, we had like 3 melee matches in a row, and this time when he stood there looking at me, I'm like, oh, I know what you're going for. I pluck out my Inquisition sword and he just takes off my head.
Yeah, that's happened to me a few times too, not with melee weapons, but I'm just standing there and I see an enemy walk up and then they just stare at me. I'm like, oh, what you thinking? And then they just shoot me out of nowhere when I think they're gonna do something.
Meanwhile, from his perspective, oh, you're an enemy! Load shotgun with malicious intent.
3 eyes enabled.
Okay, so I've got another one, but I'm going to leave that for now. Does anybody else have a game that they're excited for that is upcoming?
Out of the top of my head, man, this is why I should have gotten like notes prepared, huh?
I have like a single note.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
I have Wonderlands looks pretty interesting. The new Borderlands spin-off, that is like a continuation kind
Oh,
of
the D&D
DLC.
board game DLC.
Yes,
Yeah.
that looks so cool. I love the idea of magic and guns and melee weapons and whatever in a fantasy setting with the art style of Borderlands. It just sounds like fun. Not to mention, from what I remember, I think they said that you create your own character this time. This just looks like a fun time, and with a couple of friends, it could be easily one of the most fun, mess around games of the next year, this coming year. It could be pretty cool.
Interesting.
Also, the Avatar trailer.
I didn't see it.
No one was expecting it. It didn't show any gameplay. It was just a CGI trailer, but it was surprising. I am not going to hold my thumbs for it. I don't think it's going to be that crazy good, but I'm still interested in it. Is what I'll
Ramon's
say.
happy about it.
Is she?
Yeah.
I love the movie. Like, I grew up watching the movie so many times. So I hope it's a good game. Obviously, I want it to be a good game. But if it's not, then I won't be that disappointed.
She loved being a naked blue ape person running around on the 360 hitting people with oversized stick when they barely come up to your kneecaps. I mean, when I say it like that, it really is fun.
I played it on my PSP.
You hit a guy once with your heavy stick and he goes ragdolling, and before he can get up, you hit him again. So it's like, unless they're using pack tactics, it's really just bullying the short person.
Yeah, objectively, the old Avatar games weren't that good, but I still enjoyed them. It was still a lot of fun. It was very.
And it's like the humans got dodge rolls, so they're literally just playing Dark Souls with guns, but the big ape people are playing the bosses. So. Until like the Humi gets in a mech or a car, then it's like, okay, well, I can't get hit by that repeatedly.
Yeah.
Bo, another game, Keegan, Keanu.
I'm looking forward to Bright Memory Infinite.
Ooh, I did remember that.
Yes.
Yeah,
On my wish
there was like the small game, for those that don't know, that was made by like one person.
Yeah.
But it was so good that a company hired him to make like full game on it and change things up. And in a nutshell, it's basically a first-person shooter Dark Souls with a lot of anime.
You mean Remnant? Oh wait, first person.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But
Yeah.
Steam says like coming soon, and it's been like that for ages already.
True.
Like
Steam
Beyond,
isn't the best place to get
Game news in a nutshell.
like Beyond Good and Evil 2.
We don't talk about that.
Sizzle. I have a game that I just was reminded of. Another
Yes, yes.
note page.
Yeah.
Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt.
Bloodlines
too.
Blood
Yeah.
Hunt. It's that
Oh,
Battle
yeah.
Royale.
Oh yeah,
Battle
game.
Royale one. Oh, yes.
yeah.
The fact there was no gameplay showed, but I mean that trailer sure as hell was sick.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hope it's a good game. I can't tell anything from that trailer. The concept of it I like.
And they're like moving from streets to alleyways to roofs. So if you can just like grab the side of a house and just Assassin's Creed start climbing it, that would be pretty sick.
Yeah, it looked good.
What was another game that I saw gameplay of, which was pretty cool. Is what is it? Shadow Warrior 2? What is it called again? Is that what it's called?
I don't
Shadow
know.
Warrior 2 is already a game.
Yeah, it's
Okay, not
already.
that one. There's another. There's another one? It's like a very Doom like. I don't know if it's that one that is coming out and it's just new content, but I think it's like a new title that I saw. I'm not sure.
It's yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's like the next Shadow Warrior game.
Yes.
You're
looks
talking
really
about
cool.
you're talking about the one where you're like slashing demons with a katana and then you swap to a eagle and so on. Yeah, that's Shadow Warrior. I saw the gameplay of the new one coming out. And
That
then you're
looks
like playing.
really cool.
Yeah,
it looks like a
and you're
demon-
like fighting in the mountainside, right? Shooting demons, and there's like a firework, cornea looking demon, right?
Yeah.
It is the same game I'm talking about. Yeah, that looks pretty sick.
Yeah. It looks just Doom, but more weeby, which is always a plus for me.
What I want to say earlier is I've been telling you guys that we should co-op Shadow Warrior 2 for the longest time because it's legit just Doom with like swords and shit.
Yeah, I've said this. I've also said that I'm up for it, but every time then I want to play and you're like, no, and then I uninstall it because I need space, and then you're like, let's play it. I'm like, I have to install it.
That's literally. I've been waiting on Lily and you for the longest time. My thing is still up to date. Just chilling on my console. I actually played it the other day again, just waiting for the moment. I also said we should co-op it on the hardest difficulty, so I don't make much progress because when you're playing a 4-player co-op single player on the hardest difficulty, it's like you lure a guy out, you cap him a lot of times, you run back in. I mean, I've only died once so far, but man, are people spongy. Oh, and they hit hard.
Slight flex, yes.
Okay, so with the games that have already been come out this year, like Biomutant, and the games that are coming, like Halo Infinite, Psychonauts 2, I don't know if you guys saw that. That looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
Riders
Yes.
Republic, Deathloop, Rainbow Six, Extraction, Far Cry 6, games like that. Do you guys think 2021 will be looked back as a good year for gaming?
I don't think really. Like, if my honest opinion with just games in general, as of late, I haven't really been that excited about games coming out. There's no game that I can point out except for now, with Elden Ring. But that game's been in the works for a while now. We've known about it for a while. But like other games, like even Halo, I'm not that crazy excited about it. I'm more excited about the multiplayer. That looks fun. But
I mean, it's still
every
Halo.
other game, yeah, it is still Halo. It has got a grappling hook, so that's just a plus, like I said. But yeah, games in general, the game landscape hasn't been that excited for a while. There's a lot of indie stuff, and if you like indie games a lot, then that's cool for you.
Yeah.
But I'm personally not into a lot of indie type games. Like certain ones, yeah, I love, but not in general. It's not like I don't look for indie games to play. I prefer to play the AAA type games.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been a lot of cool ones recently. That's why we're excited for Battlefield and Elden Ring and other stuff like Halo, but there's not a lot, It's not like a crazy that I could say.
You've mentioned Elden Ring twice now, but it's 2022.
Yeah.
And speaking of 2022,
Whatever.
am I allowed to speak about Pal World then? Because that's also coming out in 2022.
What game is that?
Huh?
What is it?
Pal World is that... Oh, let me tell you about Power. Power is that game where you play as a Pokemon trainer while you hang from your Pidgey's left leg while wielding an AK, shooting the terrorist, Team Rocket, to the death. Because they're forcing Pokemon to work in gun factories and make AKs.
What? It's ridiculous. The gameplay is crazy. You can take like a Pokemon hole as a enemy shoot at him, or you pluck your AK-47 around the corner and just nail them. It is so messed up.
I'd like to point out the part where you picked up the sheep as a literal bullet sponge, and it just takes consecutive AK fire to the face. When you were done using him as a shield, your character just tosses that bitch as hard as possible off the screen with one hand. You didn't put him down after using him as a bullet sponge. You straight up yeet him off screen, that he probably dies off screen. The absolute disrespect. Man, I would run away at night if you were my trainer. Holy shit.
Yeah, looks absolutely ridiculous. We'll be picking it up as soon as it comes out.
Oh yeah, and then there's like a scene of a literal clawed giant Pokemon yeeting Team Rocket, terrorist members across the mountainscape as you're shooting at them with your AK.
Yeah.
And then the next scene is you showing up, blowing up a illegal gun factory that they enslaved Pokemon in with RPG, as all of the rubble goes flying in every direction, so you can even blow up buildings.
Yeah,
Full demolition and everything.
Maybe Lily put some gameplay of that so you get it absolutely nailed.
Sure.
And
Potato.
it's like you drop a net into the river and you just straight up fish these cute ass Pokemon like the real fish, and how effed up it is when you think about it, because like 30 to 40 of these things are all being squished together in this tight net as the other ones run out of the water and like around on the ground jumping up and down, mourning their lost brethren as you're flying away with them about to go cook them or something.
Yeah.
So Potato, 2021, good year, bad year?
Personally, I'm a bit disappointed and even sad. Not like in 2021, mainly due to the pandemic that everybody is talking about. A lot of games.
Demonetized.
I don't know what that is. What are you talking about?
No.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of
A
it.
lot of games got postponed to like next year and all that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm mainly disappointed by, I love playing VR, and I feel like VR used to like blow up for a little bit, but now there aren't like any good games coming to VR, and it's kind of like everybody just
Forgot
shoved
about it.
aside and forgot about it.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit disappointed because the things that come out the most nowadays are battle royales and sequels to games that have like number 14 of the franchise and stuff like that. And all the others are like postponed to next year. So I'm a
Yeah.
bit disappointed.
I mean, everything is postponed to like next year and the coming years. Like there was
Yeah.
recently
And
a bunch of
you-
shows that I was really excited for, and it got postponed. by 2
You know
years.
the worst part about this is
Yeah.
a game isn't just a game; it's an escape from reality. And what better time than during a pandemic?
Why do you have to bring that up? Now you just make us all depressed, as well as all the listeners.
Like when the world's gone to shit, you can't even escape it, right?
When the world needed it most.
You vanished.
My mental state is now worse after the podcast than before it. You just ruined my day.
You're welcome.
So, Keegan, 2021?
Listen.
Yes?
I don't really have anything to add to what they said, except like, yeah, I don't like postponing. I feel like it's
Nah.
also bad for losing hype in your games as well. It's
Yeah.
like when your thing finally comes out. Like I saw the top comments on Elden Ring. Everyone was just commenting like, "Holy shit, it exists!" And then it's like, "Ma, it's real!" All the comments just stuff like that. It's like, oh, I thought my friends were talking shit when they said the trailer was out and stuff. So yeah, even though it's not the best thing to postpone your game, it's better to postpone it until it's like fully functioning in every regard, like some games. I have 100 and something hours of that game. You can't tell me nothing.
Yeah, I think we all know what game you're talking about. But also,
No, I have an ending message that I was building up to the whole time.
He's holding the talking
Say
stick.
it.
Yes, my stick.
Can
not
you get a
yours.
stick for that?
We can like take our profile, like our famous logo, trim out each of us, and then just
Give him a stick.
post it, send it in the chat to show whose turn it is to talk.
That's a bit too much effort on my part now. On my part.
Alright,
You wanted a talking stick. There you
Clever.
I want
go.
an actual stick, okay?
closing statement.
But all I'd like to say for game developers who want to postpone is take a shit before the shit takes you.
I also wanted to mention.
I have
just
a picture
quickly-
that goes with that, and it's beautiful.
I just wanted to quickly mention, out of all the trailers and everything we saw for E3, my favorite one was for a game that the developers even say they know nothing about, which is Outer Worlds 2. Like, I never got into Outer Worlds 1, right? But number 2's trailer was amazing.
Yeah,
and if
it
you
was.
don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. Because
was great.
ridiculous.
Okay, but did you see the picture?
No, let me check. That is so...
I heard Potato laugh earlier, and I was like, yeah, he knows.
That's the definition of a Discord meme at 3 a.m. That's so bad.
So-
And
be
you can't
honest-
sleep that night.
To be honest, the Outer Worlds 2 kind of reminds me of our favorite game, No Man's Sky. Or
No, but you see, this one they said is like Skyrim, so it's already going in the right direction. It just works.
Speaking of Elder Scrolls 6, there's nothing on it at all. I know we
I
weren't
like-
expecting
I like-
that, but
I
They're
like how
doing the
that
Elden
trailer-
Ring approach.
I like how in the Elder Scrolls 6 the trailer was like literally they showed the name of it and everybody went mental.
And they've been going mental for like 2 years or something. And then they're not gonna show anyone anything until like 5 years. or
The
something.
Skyrim porn modding community is too large to die, my dude.
We are strong together.
The porn community's motto is just like, we didn't realize we were creating memories. We just knew we were having fun.
So my opinion of 2021 is it was a meh year, and it's simply because of the fact that my golden standard for a good year is 2018 for gaming. That entire hype of waiting for Red Dead Redemption 2 was so good, and then the game itself was good as well.
I'm just sad about the online, really.
Yeah.
It should have been more. Should be like something like GTA Online, but whatever.
But yeah, it's a May year for me. But do you know what will consider 2021 a good year? Your rectum with our sponsor, Rectumfy. With Rectumfy, never have explosive diarrhea again. But don't take it from me, take it from our top customer, Keegan.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave. If one thing has taught me over the years, it is that an anus has 4 times the constricting power of the vagina. So I need to be prepared. Should I continue or break?
Go on.
Now thinking about that's quite irrelevant, but with Rectify.
The ad must conclude.
Why did you have to stop?
I'm glad we decided I go second.
All right, keep her going.
Do I go now or?
Yeah, sure.
Rectify actually saved me a ton of money. No more putting shit all over the toilet seat, shit all over the walls, and shit all over the ceiling. With Rectify, I don't shit anymore at all. And I have Keanu to prove my statement.
Yes, I can. I can personally tell you all that this product will save your ass in more ways than one. It is a technical marvel, and everyone should definitely look into it. Rectify, order now on Lily bleep this out.
.com.
Definitely not a sketchy
Are
site.
we selling a product that helps you shit or a product that stops you from shitting? I thought it was helping you shit. Mr. Rectify, I have been constipated for over a month.
5-star review on Yelp.
Now with Rectify, you never again will have to shit in your life.
Best investment ever.
Until death. Our logo. Our motto.
No, the motto should be your ass will thank you.
No, it won't. I'm pretty sure if you constipated for a month, you'll die.
Wait. You have to put this in and use it as like the cover of the ad. Wait. Just keep trust me on this.
If it's not Harold, then I want no part in it. Just Harold in the corner holding a bottle while he's staring so seriously.
What's our product called again?
Rectumfy.
Rectumfy. So just a smooth little edit there.
I got this.
Oh, that guy's face explains exactly what this product will do to you. Satisfaction.
Satisfaction. Yes.
All right. So that is our fake ad out of the way. Something we'll do every single episode. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Let's talk about PlayStation naming their consoles.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about Xbox
There's an
naming their
Xbox.
consoles.
Yeah. It's gonna say.
though?
Wait. Really? Are you gonna PlayStation? At least you can follow where it's going. Okay.
Yeah, but
Xbox,
if I was constantly advertising myself as the latest in console, friggin' what do you call it? The latest in console scientific mathematics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Mr. PlayStation is just like we name our products, like we name our employees. Mr.
Like
PlayStation.
we name our children.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean,
We don't use numbers anymore. Don't do
Actually,
with the Xbox though, like parents, did you remember there was this huge part of the year where parents were trying to buy the new Xbox for their children, and they kept on buying the wrong Xbox because of the name. That was a huge, big thing. With PlayStation, there's no way you can mess it up unless your parents are actually just mentally something wrong.
What do you
up
mean?
there.
Half of the people, including you, including you, because I know if you go tell your mother to get you the PlayStation 5, she's gonna forget the number, but she's gonna remember the rest.
When it's game consoles, unless it's like very like many years after the previous one, or it's completely different, I believe it should just be numbered. It makes it much easier. Okay, I don't see the point in making it the Xbox New Genesis. I don't know what I'm saying. But
I
you know what I
having a
mean.
stroke.
do you need Rectumfy?
Does it come in full form?
Yes,
It
yes.
sounded like you pushed away his table.
That's exactly.
Rectumfy, now snortable.
Oh no.
First you put it in your ass, then you put it
I mean, our product should really be catered to noses. Honestly, no more snot for the rest of your life.
Speaking of drugs, Potato, do you have any high stories for us?
No, that's not a segue. That's not a segue.
That's a segue.
No, we'll keep that for
a
another
segue and a half.
podcast.
That will be the main topic of the next podcast.
But I saw an ad for this, and I don't know if you know what that is, but Dofalham is a drug that you can buy in the pharmacy to stop pain. It's like really famous. It's like one of the best painkillers, or one of the most well-known painkillers. And I saw the ad, and they were like advertising it to make it extra strong using caffeine. How is that not drugs? Literally putting caffeine into painkillers.
Dude, if it wasn't addictive already.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like looking at it, and I'm like, oh my god, are you mental?
It's clearly
I
for the
don't
people who make it. They want
understand.
it more.
Have you ever dipped your cheeseburger in cholesterol? I'm sure golly doesn't improve the taste.
Cholesterol.
So I'm imagining Rectumfy with extra caffeine.
Breaks it, grains it into sugar for their coffee.
Listen to this one. Rectumfy, now for kids.
Oh no, shut up! No.
The kids who
Rectumfy
line up
plus for the
Rectumfy
elderly.
before going to class.
We wanted this to be monetized.
Was that
It
the
won't
goal?
be anymore. It was a goal. Not anymore.
What was the other?
I don't know. To make a successful podcast, clearly not going well.
I think it's going successfully.
Oh, well, shit happens. Oh,
Oh my god, that's
You.
shit happens.
But with Rectumfy, it doesn't.
Shit
how we
just doesn't happen.
I like how he just accidentally created an amazing ad.
The love for all living creatures is the most noble attribute of man, except for mosquitoes. They could go fuck themselves.
So, that was podcast number 1. I'm sorry for everybody who was listening.
We will reimburse all your ear surgeries.
We know your ears are bleeding, but thanks for making it this far. Rest in peace, Kentaro Miura. And then all I'll say is, don't cry because it's over, smelt because it happened.
True.
Well said.
It was very sad, but instead of mourn, we will just enjoy what he left behind in his wake, which was a pretty immaculate story, which inspired a lot.